Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com. Coming back to you with another video. And do you guys remember who we have here? TJ.
What's up?
It's been what? When did you come on my channel last?
I was on it back in 2020 was probably the last time, right before the COVID thing. So
yeah, was that at the Connecticut thrifting meetup? Because I know, yeah, we did a video like in the parking lot at Goodwill.
Yep.
And at the time, you were selling about 679 books every 15 days. I remember because that was the title.
Yep.
How you been doing since then, man? Tell us about how your business is going, what you're doing, and kind of what we're going to be talking about.
Definitely. So I'm still doing the thrifting. At the time, I used to do about 6 thrift stores a day. Scaled that back. I'm doing about 3 a day now, and starting to get more into the bulk business of it. Doing bulk DVDs, bulk CDs.
And what is that? Because I always talk about this with my audience. If you want to grow your business, there's no way around, like, you have to sell more items. And how do you sell more items? You have to buy more items. But a lot of times we're limited at thrift stores, right? Like, who here, like, sometimes you think to yourself, like, how can I buy 50 a day or 100 a day? Like, there's competition or the prices are too high. So talk about what bulk is and why you decided to go into it. Is it because you knew you had to find more items to scale?
That's one of the reasons, yeah. So basically bulk, when you're dealing with books, media, things like video games, CDs, they're going to come in what's called a Gaylord, which is basically a giant cardboard box, filled with stuff, and it comes on a pallet. And usually they contain around 1,000 items, roughly. Sometimes with DVDs and CDs, it might be like 1,200, 1,300 items.
Gotcha. So how's that going now that you're starting to buy these bulk Gaylords of books?
Going good. It's different than, so when you go in a thrift store, you have everything nice and lined up on the shelves for you. You're in a nice, AC thrift store.
Yep.
Nice, cool. You can just scan it right off the shelf. With bulk, it's a little more difficult. You're kind of climbing into these Gaylord cardboard containers. It's a lot more messy. You'll get kind of covered in this kind of like dirt.
And do they get delivered to your house?
I have a warehouse with a loading dock, so they get delivered there. I'm on the 3rd floor. My warehouse is on the 3rd floor.
So it must be like an elevator or something?
Yeah, there's a freight elevator, so I can take about three of these pallets up at a time. I can usually fit about 12 in my space right now. So
do you buy like 12 at a time, or are they coming in?
Yeah, they come in a truckload.
Like a carton of eggs?
Truckload of 12. You get a dozen with it. So.
And what does it typically cost to acquire a pallet? You don't have to say your exact numbers, but what can people expect if they want to start buying like pallets of books and DVDs and whatnot?
I mean, like when I first got introduced to bulk, I'd hear a lot of people say, you can get it $50.
Yeah, I used to hear like $50-$60 for a pallet.
Honestly, realistically now, it's more in the $200 to $300 range per.
Is that because of inflation and like gas prices and everything, like freight forwarding prices? Yeah.
So I mean, it's really the quality of what you're getting too. So I mean, you can still find things for $50, but it might not be what you want.
And there's different services. I've shouted out Pallet IQ on my channel multiple times, and a pallet could be $800, $1,000, because it's higher quality. It's already pre-scanned. It's already got like a built-in profit. Are the pallets that you're ordering of like these books and DVDs, are these like pre-scanned? Are they coming from a reseller? Like, is there a guaranteed profit, or is it coming from like a donation center or whatnot?
Exactly. Yeah, there's no guarantee with it. It's kind of from all over the place.
Yeah.
They haven't been pre-scanned, but I mean they could be leftover thrift store things. They could be donations. Yeah, kind of a little bit of everything.
So what have you found from your experience? Like, is it worth it for people right now who are going to thrift stores and whatnot? And the thing with thrift stores is the margins are really high, but you have to spend all of your time and fight with competition. You got to scan through everything. You got to load them up. You got to bring them home and whatnot. Whereas I would say the benefit with the pallets is you're almost like using your money to work for you, right? You're like, you spend money up front, and then you have to obviously spend your time in the comfort of your warehouse, which, does it have AC or not?
It does not.
Oh, man.
It's hot. Right?
But at least you're by yourself and you're able to like go through and pick through and whatnot. Like, has it been worth it for you compared to thrifting for the folks who are thrifting now? Or is it like...
It's worth it for me. I mean, doing it by myself, I can make a profit. If I really, ideally, for the amount I'm doing, I should probably have three employees. So that's what I have to think about.
Employees are so expensive in the States, though. Yeah. Like, that's why I just use virtual assistants. Obviously, that doesn't help with your business because it's very like physical.
So I'm still crunching the numbers. I don't know if it makes sense for me to hire 3 people. Is there still going to be a profit left?
Yeah,
that's kind of the thing. So,
and that's why it's important for everybody. Like, regardless of what business model you're doing with e-commerce and eBay and Amazon and whatnot, you need to make sure your margins are high enough, because at scale, you need to have that room there, for hiring. Maybe you need an additional bookkeeper. Maybe maybe you're going to hire a sourcer. Like for me now, it's a lot cheaper, but I have virtual assistants that are handling all the back end stuff, the sourcing, helping with listing and whatnot. And if my margins weren't really high, then I wouldn't be able to do that.
True.
But there's nothing wrong with having a business where you're a one-man, one-woman show at all. You have the control.
Yeah, true. You have the control. Things to think about, like you'll probably want a warehouse space. I mean, you could get pallets sent to if you have like a garage or something. You could work out of that, but...
How's 1,000 square feet? Is that expensive?
It's not too bad where I am right now.
Like what are the ranges of like what that typically would cost? Again, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I know.
Actually, I have a pretty good deal. Mine's only in the around $600 a month, which is pretty cheap.
Are you getting killed though with like business internet for like $200 a month or something crazy?
I use I have Xfinity Wi-Fi, hotspot, so that works pretty well.
Quick tip, real quick, for anyone who wants internet, if they find out you're a business, they literally charge you like two different times as much. It's brutal.
But I mean, if I want to scale up, I've been looking into warehouses. It's probably going to be closer in the $3,000 to $6,000 per month.
Oh, so, for like what? Like for like 5,000 to 8,000 or something. Yeah, it's similar over here as well. It's if you go into like more industrial spaces that are like a little more crummy, sometimes you get down to like 50 cents per square foot. Because right now for you it's probably like $1. Right now you're around 60 cents though, but that's you're on the third floor, right? So tell everybody about the biggest challenges you were dealing with behind the scenes. You said that pre-COVID or during COVID, you were having issues with freight forwarders and whatnot?
Exactly. So basically before COVID, I was doing 100% cherry picking. I always wanted to do bulk, but I was doing pretty well cherry picking, so I had no real motivation. So once COVID hit, kind of like, this is my time to try bulk out.
Time to go crazy.
I don't know if it was just because during the heart of the pandemic, but pretty much everything that could have went wrong. I had issues like getting the books. Actually, getting the books wasn't the hardest part. It was scheduling shipments with Amazon at the time, dealing with disposals.
Yeah.
Just all the freight logistics.
Inventory limitations.
Then that hit.
Did you have issues with the freight forwarders telling you that they're going to be delivering your item on a certain date and time, and then they just don't show up and blow you off like they did to me multiple times?
Sometimes it took a couple weeks just to get a pallet shipped out.
They'll literally ignore you for weeks, and then you go on like a weekend vacation, and then they call you and they're like, "We'll be here in 10 minutes."
Yeah.
They do that to you too? They don't even give you a heads up?
That's the one benefit of if you ship from your house doing LTL, they'll usually pre-schedule it a few days in advance, and then they call you too. But if you have a commercial spot, they kind of show up and...
Well, I had it to my residents, and they just showed up.
Did they?
Yeah, they did that to me too. Even when I had my warehouse space, it was crazy. But so what are your goals, man? Like right now, you're doing cherry picking, you're doing the bulk. Like, what are your biggest challenges right now? What are your goals moving forward? Like, what do you want to commit to on the Raiken Profit YouTube channel?
I want to commit to getting a few employees, having something self-sustaining where I can step out, for a week and still have everything running as is. And since right now I'm pretty much doing everything, I'm doing the listing.
You're unboxing, inspecting, listing, shipping, back end, Amazon.
Exactly,
removals.
all the repricing. Yep.
Dude, we got to get you a virtual assistant, man, just to help with the back end stuff. Like, what about repricing? What are you doing for that?
I use it's called repriceit.com.
So you're just using like the general repricer rules.
It works out. 80% of it does good, and then about 20% of it, it's
I heard Repriceit's pretty good though for booksellers though. I moved to Be Cool. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Heard it, yeah. I've just tried them out before.
Really?
I know a lot of people.
Did you not like it?
Things. I was just not used to it, I guess.
Did you use did they have the AI at the time?
They might not have. I think I tried it right when they first came out.
It's a bit more expensive. Like, it's $100 a month, man. But like, I'll show you afterwards behind the scenes. Like, it's literally brought in. Like, my buy box percentage is shot through the roof. Like, literally shot through the roof. And like, you could see the dashboard and you could see all the sales that are coming in because of the AI, because of the repricer. And I'll show you behind the scenes. I've had it since August 1st. Today's what, the 15th or 14th? It's been like 2 weeks, man. It's already brought in like an extra 8,000 in sales. Like, it's crazy. And I'm like, because I had my VAs manually repricing.
Yeah.
So Repricer doesn't tell you like how many sales you've gotten from the repricer, does it?
No, it doesn't. No.
Yeah, that's the thing I didn't like. I was like, is it working or not? You know?
Yeah, I mean, you get a list of the items it did reprice, and you can kind of see.
You can set
where
the
it
times.
was.
You have it.
Yeah.
Do you have it like repriced like 5-6 times a day or whatever?
Right now, since it's textbook season, I don't know when this video will come out, but
Yeah.
I have it going 4 times. I usually only have it about 2 or 3 because I compare to the buy box. So if you have it going too many times, if there's someone that's undercutting it by like a penny or something, it can go down real quick. So you got to be a little careful with that.
So what else do you want to talk about in terms of like transitioning from thrift to bulk? Is there anything else that's on your mind in terms of where you're trying to go with things, or any advice you give to people considering it?
Definitely finding a good source is finding lots of books.
Source is everything.
Yeah. It's easy to find bulk books, but it's harder to find, or bulk DVDs. It's harder to find good ones though. So be careful. Anybody advertising that they're selling like books in bulk or DVDs in bulk, usually, I mean, you could do very well with it, but usually that might not be the best way. So a lot of times you have to reach out to sources to find.
What do you mean sources?
You can do
like to other sellers or something?
Either other sellers or to other thrift stores or things. Anybody that's like if they're advertising it that they're selling all this stuff, you have to be a little careful. I wouldn't go and buy like a truckload of it.
So like, a lot of my mentors always say, like when it comes to online arbitrage or bulk, or do a test buy, do like a small sample size at first. So you would like recommend maybe just get like one Gaylord if it's like a couple $100 or so, give it a shot and see like the quality, but and like maybe slowly scale up. Don't go from 1 to 12 because maybe they just gave you all the honeycombs, right?
It's because you could get a few good ones and then the rest are bad, or you could hit a few bad ones and then give up, and then little did you know there could have been some good stuff. So.
What's the most annoying thing about dealing with bulk?
Definitely the freight. Dealing with freight companies, because it's not like a UPS or a post office thing where you know when they're going to come.
What surprised you most about bulk compared to thrift that people didn't tell you, and you're just like, oh wow, that's interesting. I didn't know about that. I'm hitting you off the top. We're not prepared right now. I'm trying to get TJ.
I knew there would be a lot of duds. But because usually about 10%, maybe 20% of what's in a Gaylord is monetizable.
Okay, so 80% is a dud.
That's still 80% is a dud. So
or 90,
if there's 1,000 items in a pallet, 200 items are good, and then you still have 800 items that aren't. So it's getting rid of the duds is basically the game of bulk. Yeah,
one of the number one questions I always get is, how do you get rid of duds? I get that probably 2 to 3 times a week, and it's like, I don't run a business where I have duds. Everything's cherry picked. From RA to OA, my team, myself, I cherry pick everything. So I don't have to deal with duds. How do you deal with duds, man?
That's probably the number one.
Is it a big bonfire?
Could. That's a good idea. I could do that.
The book people hate you. Don't tell them.
No, not that. So with books, it's a little easier. You can usually get a recycler to come pick them up. Oh. I don't know what the rates are. Sometimes they'll actually pay you for your duds if the recycling rate is good. And I know in the past, you've actually had to pay them to take it, because it's based off the paper.
The value of paper. Interesting.
For doing bulk DVDs and CDs, recyclers won't take them, so you actually have to call a disposal company, so you have to pay.
Is that pricey?
It's the best quote I got was $50 per pallet. Just kind of a lot. So
wow, $50 per pallet?
Per pallet, and that was like the cheapest rate. You could do a free pickups. Yeah. And that's what I did at first, was Facebook Marketplace.
I see people doing that, but that's got to be annoying.
It's very annoying. People come up with their pickup trucks. You have to dump them in there. I can show you some photos. They go all out of the person's truck. You have to pick them up off the ground. It's not worth it.
So final words of wisdom to everybody watching right now. And again, how can people follow you before? I never even introduced you. I'll put something on the screen at the beginning.
Not that big on social media right now.
You can follow him.
Yeah, you can
this
follow
is the only
me.
place you're going to follow him.
If you're friends with Raiken on Facebook, just look up TJ. find my face, and you can add me if you want.
Yeah, my buddy.
Otherwise, I'm not that followable.
My buddy Vinny. I don't know if you've seen Vinny, the toy master on my channel. He's going to be at the Connecticut Thrifting Meetup. Everyone's like, start a YouTube channel. He's like, he doesn't like social media. He doesn't want to be on social media. So it's not for everybody. It's like my brother. He's not big into social media, and here I am. I'm a freaking TikTok superstar. I'm just joking.
Someday I might start a channel.
Yeah, I could see you doing some dances on TikTok.
Oh yeah,
got the slick back hair.
There you go.
So, final words of wisdom that you would have to say to people thinking about going into bulk like you.
Make sure you have the space. Either get a warehouse if you have a large garage, that might work. Definitely need somewhere indoors. You don't want to be doing, especially with books, you don't want to be doing those outside. What else?
Get an air conditioning unit at the warehouse.
That would be nice. Okay, you want to say cool. Starting out, get a good software. I mean, you can use bulk softwares, or just using like a Scout IQ to begin with is good. I'd also recommend, since it's bulk, you don't have to use the Scout IQ default triggers, because that's more for thrift stores.
Yeah.
So with bulk, you can definitely go a lot lower in your price since you already have the books.
Gotcha.
So just set up some good triggers with what you're...
And do a test buy. Don't get too trigger happy in the beginning.
Definitely a couple test buys.
Yeah.
Do that first. And make sure you have a way to get rid of your duds. That's probably the one most important thing before you even buy anything.
All right.
Make sure you know how to
get rid of it. Well, hey, man. Appreciate you, TJ.
Thank you.
We're going to do another video on my channel. I think we're going to talk about maybe like how beginners could start selling books, because I get that asked all the time. And I know you're putting up some big numbers with books right now. So follow, like, subscribe. Go to my Facebook if you want to get to him, because he's like part of the Secret Service.
I'm hard to find.
Yeah, you can't find him.
If you can find me,
just here on the Raiken Profit YouTube channel trademark. So with that being said, much love, guys. Thanks for coming on and watching, and talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.